In Amsterdam, everything is in motion. Trams, bikes, boats of every kind, and ideas. And while the first coffee wasn't brewed here, it certainly helped shape the world that drinks it.
So today we're here to uncover the deep coffee history of the Netherlands.
From the very first pubs, sailors and traders, and the role both Turkey and Indonesia played in shaping how we enjoy coffee today.
And like the start of any good coffee story, let's begin with a bit of Turkish breakfast.
I popped in on SNOB Amsterdam for a wonderful spread of cheeses, dips, simit, and of course, a sip of Mehmet Efendi from the bar.
So you might be wondering, we're in the Netherlands, what is the Turkish connection? And well, you're right. It wasn't as direct here as it was in other parts of Europe, especially on the eastern side where the Ottoman culture really played a major role in the adoption of coffee, especially in the Turkish form. But here in Amsterdam, it was less of a cultural inspiration. You see, when the Dutch traders got a little taste of the brown stuff, they saw dollar signs, or the Dutch guilder as it was back then. The Dutch East India Trading Company, they had connections in the ex-Ottoman territories, particularly Istanbul and also Yemen, and they saw coffee as the next big crop. So that is where the Turkish influence on coffee here started. But let me show you what they did next. It was a lad named Peter van den Broek who actually brought the first live coffee plants back from Yemen in 1616. But of course, coffee doesn't grow in the Netherlands. So before sending it on to warmer climates,
they probably grabbed a beer, or two, or three.
And this Café Karpershoek was the first place for these early sailors to do it. It opened back in 1606, which was actually 10 years before the first coffee plants arrived on Dutch soil. They originally served beer, genever, and pub grub. Let's go check it out.
Before coffee ever hit the scene, pubs were the city's watering holes.
And as you can see, very old spot. This is one of actually several notable pubs here in Amsterdam called brown cafes. Very dim, woody, and well, brown. And what makes these unique is they're actually protected by Dutch national heritage. So you can't make major renovations or alterations for historical purposes. But it's a little bit too early for beer, so let's get a coffee. And this is weird coffee. No, seriously, it's called weird coffee or wrong coffee, koffie verkeerd. It's basically wrong because the typical way of drinking coffee here in the Netherlands is just black filter coffee or filter with a bit of milk. This is much more like a cappuccino, latte, maybe in some cases a lot more milky, sort of like a coffee flavored milk. And it is the coffee of the Netherlands. Maybe not everyone drinks it, but I'd love to know if you would try it. Let me know in the comments. Is this your type of coffee drink?
It was from greenhouses here in Amsterdam. They studied these newfound coffee plants, and the Dutch East India Trading Company eventually brought them over to Indonesia to be planted as a crop in the late 1600s. Java, to be specific. Hence coffee's ubiquitous synonym. As you can imagine, over the years, coffee has evolved here in Amsterdam, and the Netherlands is among those on the leading edge of cafe innovations. So let's head on over to the Amsterdam Coffee Festival to check in on the local scene.
Here we are at the Amsterdam Coffee Festival. Let's go find Mehmet Efendi. Let's go make some Turkish coffee. How many of you had tried coffee from the Jezva before? Okay, this method hasn't changed much in the last 500 years either. It's what's influenced how we drink coffee today around the world, right?
I had a great time giving a quick tutorial on Turkish coffee and the history that it went through for the eager coffee lovers coming in from around Europe.
You've been waiting patiently, okay?
To get a closer look at a more modern yet key anchor for specialty coffee in the city, I meet up with my good friend Alex Catane. He's been living in the city for many years now and ships fresh roasts to coffee lovers around the world through his subscription company, The Coffee Vine.
At the time, The specialty coffee scene was kind of like in its infancy, but it was like happening, it was exciting. I source coffees from around the world. I try to have a good mix of people that are well known, but also people that are up and coming.
What have you seen are the most recent sort of coffee innovations that are really exciting for you?
People are taking things to the next level with regards to the way they serve the coffee. There are many cafe owners that are now choosing, not to serve food, for example, because it distracts from the coffee experience. But also you see more people from the science community. This is a cafe in Amsterdam called SNOB, run by my friend Lucas Hernandez, but he's doing a bar takeover today with a group from Copenhagen called Poma, and they're doing incredible research in greenhouses in Denmark where they're growing coffee.
The research that we do is based out of a climate-controlled greenhouse. We also have a coffee today that is a little bit more fun, that very few people in the coffee industry have tried before. It's a species called Coffea stenophila. Then this species actually thrives at really low altitudes, really warm temperatures, so kind of a climate-resilient species. Really nice, vibrant acidity, very sweet, ginger, lemon verbena kind of vibe to it. Always like innovating coffee is always exciting, I think, especially for professionals.
Maybe that's the future of specialty coffee.
So have you ever tried Turkish coffee then?
Yes, I tried it in Istanbul, and the most recent time was at Ben Rahim in Berlin a few weeks ago. A very unique experience. It is a shame that it's not more publicly available in places.
But it comes back to what you were saying a little bit about cafes adopting new approaches and maybe taking each coffee a little bit further.
Yes.
So you could have a little bit more of those elaborated traditional experiences.
Yes. And that's a great way to distinguish yourself in a world where a lot of people are doing kind of the same thing, try to stand out.
So next time you have a coffee, remember, every drink tells a story, and here in the Netherlands, it's one that never stops moving.